गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनां मुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सेदसादनं प्रणो देवे सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनेवते दीनामवित्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम। ओम साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ओम जयन्ती मंगलकाली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवदात्री स्वाहा स्वाहा नमोस्तुते। ओम शांति 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 है। Sairam Lin, Sairam from Malaysia.
Sairam Sharma, Sairam from New Zealand. Thank you, Bhagwan, for allowing Sharma and I to celebrate one more story of your glory. And welcome to all of our listeners. Loving Sairam to you, wherever you may be. Today's topic is Eye to Eye with Swami. And I mean eyeball to eyeball. When I was 20 and attending university in Richmond, Virginia, there were no spiritual books to be had that I knew of. And so I had this thirst to know more about the East. And I began to frequent a beautiful bookstore in downtown Richmond called Cokesbury. One day I walked in and there was a display of books. It was autobiography of a yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda, and his picture was on the front with these eyes, these beautiful, beautiful smoking eyes. I could not take my eyes off of this photograph. And I thought, I must know who this is, and I must find him. I want him to look into my eyes. I bought the book. It cost me a whole week of my allowance. I didn't care. And as more and more I read the book, the more and more my eyes were opened to the glories of Bharat, of India. And I began to feel this great longing in my heart, in my chest area, to go to India. I couldn't explain it. I was right in the middle of my studies, so it was an impossible dream. In fact, I couldn't even imagine how I would get to India. India was not a place that we Americans planned our holidays for. We either went to Mexico, Canada, or Paris, or England, but India might as well have been on another planet for all we knew. But time passed, and once I graduated, I thought I will find Yogananda because I want him to look into my eyes, and if he does so, I will serve him for the rest of my life. Well, I soon found out that he had passed away in 1952, and this was 1971. So I was very disappointed. And it wasn't until I was given a book of Sathya Sai Baba in 1974, just after I had arrived in New Zealand, that again I saw a beautiful face with these smoking eyes. I couldn't take my eyes off this photo of Swami. It was a color picture. He was quite young, and he had a huge afro and was wearing a red robe. Again, the thought came to me, I just want you to look into my eyes, and if you prove to me who you say you are, I will serve you for the rest of my life. But that was the big thing. He had to look into my eyes. I couldn't know he was a divine soul, the one I'd been looking for all my life, unless he came and looked into my eyes. That was the deal. Americans always want to make a deal. And I was no different. So that's 1974. Finally, 1989, I am sitting on the front row, and Swami is coming along, giving darshan. In these days, we are sitting outside on the concrete. And this is my first darshan, and he stops and he looks down into my eyes. I'm trying to find the pupils in his eyes. I want to see every inch of his eye. You know, there is the white, and then there is the color, the iris, and then there's the pupil. To my astonishment, I could not see a pupil in Swami's eyes. They were a sea of brown and gold, and I saw light. I saw so much light in his eyes, and it was coming straight at me and meeting my eyes. I never thought that being eye to eye with Swami would be light to light. And indeed, much, much later, I realized something, that Swami said, the light in your eyes is reflecting the spark of divinity that dwells in your spiritual heart. But this was far in the future. Mata Betty wrote beautiful poems and songs to Swami, and one of the first ones I transcribed, and this is before I had gone to India with her, she wrote the following. When I looked at you, beloved Bhagwan, you mirrored me so clear. When I looked at you, beloved, thoughts simply disappeared. When I looked at you, beloved, when I looked at you. And it's true. When Swami looks at you eye to eye, your thoughts vanish. Your mind becomes almost a blank. Mata Betty said to all of us to make a list of all the things that we wanted to ask Swami, should he ask that magical question, any spiritual questions. She said, write a list of what you would like to ask Swami and keep it in your pocket at all times. Because when you go into the interview room, something happens. And sometimes your mind will go completely blank and you will not be able to remember a single thing, because the power coming out of Swami's eyes is pure love, divine love. This is not human love. Now, when someone loves you and looks into your eyes, a human, well, it's looking like for me, it's like looking at melted chocolate. It's just absolutely, you know what it's like. You're swimming, you're in this kind of diamond love, and you're looking into the eyes of the one you love, and he's looking at you or she's looking at you, and it's la, la, la. But let me tell you, when God's looking into your eyes, you're not nothing and nobody. You are just a ball of light being enclosed by his light. Now, in one interview, I was sitting so close to him, and he was leaning forward. When he wants to really get something, really drive something home, he will lean forward in the chair, and you are sitting at his feet, and he leans forward, and he's just inches from your face. And you don't waver, and you certainly don't look away. You lock eyes with him. And then he will pour into you through his eyes, his two eyes, and it's also coming from his third eye. I could feel a channel of blue, it was like bluish light coming from his third eye into mine. I could see it. And all around his head at this particular moment was a halo. It was getting bigger and bigger. It was the color of white lightning, and the edge was pink, tinged with gold, just the lightest, if you can think of the lightest color of pink and the lightest sort of luminous gold. It was beyond beauty, beyond anything beautiful I've seen on this earth, beyond the beauty of any flower, any star, any planet. Swami, with his eyes pouring that love into your eyes, his third eye beaming blue light into your third eye, and this halo of light around him, which is love. It's a radiance of love, and it is encircling you and embracing you, and you are just gone. I'm telling you, you are gone. You have no more thought of what you want or what you need or what you want Swami to give you. It's absolutely beyond words. However, I did notice one other thing, and people who have seen Swami in darshan would have noticed, you will have seen it in videos, that he is quite often dabbing his mouth with a handkerchief. And I remember one of the staff saying to me, Lynn, that is Amrit. That is why he is always dabbing his lips. He is Amrit. He is divine nectar. That is why he is often needing the handkerchief. He's not drooling, definitely not. It's Amrit, because it glistens. It glistens like a golden drop of sun. Sometimes, too, his face would have Amrit on it coming from the forehead, and other times there would be vibhuti coming from his forehead. I sometimes saw just a shadow of vibhuti on his cheek. Other times it would be on his forehead. Other times, it would be obviously on his hand from when he was making vibhuti, but it was those eyes I could never, ever get enough of. But there's a deeper meaning to what I'm telling you, because Swami once said to us, as each of you perform your silent work, I will embrace you to my heart, and henceforth your soul shall be lifted up, and your eyes will reveal my presence within. Because within us is that spark of light, that is the spiritual heart. Swami described this to Madhavedi as within you is a little house, he said. Within you is a little house, and within that house is a little altar, and on that altar is a little jyoti flame, and that is your spiritual heart. It is within the heart of your physical heart. It is just to the right of your physical heart. Physical heart is on the left, spiritual heart is on the right. Take the right path, not the left. In other words, follow the spiritual heart, not the worldly desires and longings and deals that the physical heart wants to make. Because that's what the physical heart's always doing. It's always thinking, I want this, I need that, I must do this. I'm thinking, I'm wishing, I'm praying, I want. No. When he says when it becomes too much, when that heart is breaking, shift your attention to the spiritual heart. He said, it is my duty to make that flame on the altar in that little house grow brighter and brighter so that it reflects in your eyes. And as you go about my work, my beloved devotees, my eyes will shine through your eyes. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Tasmat karunya bhavena raksha raksha Saishwara. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Saishwararpanamastu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.